one they're gated about.
And hello, everybody, and welcome to the Paraornormalguyz. I am Sportcat. I am one of your hosts tonight. I'm barely with it tonight. Hope everybody's having a great night, and I hope you remember to come over to our channel from yergsradio.com and Rainbow Radio, as well as Radio Exit Australia. Welcome, welcome. Denise, welcome. Let me bring out my lovely co-host. We have a great show lined up for you tonight, and you're going to love it. Let me find another button here because I can have it ready. I want to make sure that the whole world knows our new co-host occasionally is going to be Miss Casey. So she gets her little theme song here. Just for you, Casey. We got her meowing. So welcome, Casey.
You're welcome.
That took a little work, by the way. So, all right, so that we don't have our guests hiding backstage all day while we have all night where we have our shenanigans, we have Tricia Copeland back. You'll remember her. She's one of the great authors that we had previously. Welcome, welcome. How are you tonight?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Hey, we missed you when Mickey said, can you have guests back more than once? I was like, well, depends.
Yes. The good ones, yes.
Well, I feel honored.
Oh, we love you. We love you. So we had a great time and had some great stories, and so we wanted to continue the conversation. Now, have you done any new books since we last talked, or I can't remember if you're working on one? Yeah,
so I have a new release coming out in July.
Okay.
That's going to be the finale to my Fae series. It's called The Realm Chronicles.
Yeah.
Awesome. So is this the end of that series, or is it just a new one in the series?
No, it's the end to the series, yes.
Into the series.
I'm very excited to get it out there.
Well, then what's next? You got to create another world, or?
I know. I don't know what's next. I can't put these characters through any more upheaval, so I have to create some new characters that I can put in dire danger again.
So how many books will this make it in the series once this one comes out in July?
5. The 5th.
Good Lord. That's a lot of writing.
It is.
When you find something like that you really love, though, stuff just kind of, well, you have to rein yourself in sometimes.
Definitely, yes. But I needed, it's a good story arc, I think. So I think everyone will be happy with the ending. I hope they will be.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you get to torture your characters too, so that's fun.
Yeah, that's fun and heartbreaking at the same time.
Well, if I remember correctly, it was you that we were talking to that said that basically they were dictating the story to you and you were just kind of guiding through it.
It does happen that way. I usually try and figure out where the book is going to end, but everything in between, I just sort of comes to me.
And once you start creating the characters and the personality, it gets into, well, they wouldn't do it. I was going to go that way, but they definitely wouldn't do it that way. So we got to go this way. Then we'll go that way over there. But
yeah, I put a lot of fun new characters in this one too, because they have a spell that they have to enact, and they have to gather 12 different paranormal type beings. So I had to do a lot of research on like kelpies and selkies and pixies and 12 different kinds of characters are kind of a lot to be able to gather and make it. And it's contemporary, so you have to make it seem somewhat plausible in 2020, I think is the setting. So, yeah, it was a bit of a challenge.
I can imagine. Any Bigfoot?
Where
I didn't do Bigfoot. I don't know why I didn't do him. He might have been too hard to find.
little cliffhanger, he just pokes his head out at the end. Just
Yeah, that could have been your ending. He's just peeking around a tree, and that's the beginning of your next series. So
there we go. I will write about Bigfoot next. Are we sure it's a he or she? Or are we sure? We don't know. It's just Bigfoot.
I have no idea.
I feel like most people assume he, but like I think we need a strong female Bigfoot lead. So,
well, and is there really only one? I mean,
that is a great debate,
right?
Well,
is it a Bigfoot or are there big feet?
Plural. There's got to be more than one.
Big footses.
Yeah, because how would you have more if there wasn't a female?
Well, I guess if it's purely supernatural, there could just be one.
Yeah, or it could be an alien spawning out of its belly. We don't know.
That's true.
We really don't know.
It's probably best we don't. We just.
With some of the stories we hear on this show, sometimes some of the things we talk about, we go, we hope that's not real.
Or oh, that happened. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So is your next well, how do I want to set this? Your next series going to be set in the same type thing, or are you going to move to a different type of genre, or what are you going to?
I haven't really decided. I had a character who I really liked, who was a Nyx or is a Nyx, and she comes into the Fae realm, and she causes some problems. So I'm thinking of making sort of a dystopian fantasy with that character. That's my current train of thought. I haven't fully fleshed it out yet.
Okay. Once you start the process, how long does it take from start to finish to get one out? Much less 5.
Well, if I have a fully formed idea, like if I know the beginning, the end, and a couple of the characters, the major plot points, I can write pretty fast, like 6 to 8 weeks. If I'm writing every day, it could take 2 or 3 months. I've taken as much as 6 months to write a book if I'm really like struggling or not focused or don't have time to do it every day. So yeah, but it can go fast if I like really, work on it an hour or 2 a day. I can do it pretty fast.
Okay. All right. I don't think I've written that many words since I left high school.
I wish that I could just focus on one story to get at least one out, because I'll start writing and then like my ADHD kicks in and I'm like, okay, here's good chunk I got written over here, but then I've got to go focus on this idea that I had an epiphany on, one line of something. Now I've got to, I can't ever stick to anything.
Jump in here, Casey. I don't want to take all the glory.
I was going to ask, next to your series of books, what's your favorite series or author?
I love Cassandra Clare. Her series are just always amazing to me, even though they feel very contemporary. They take you into other worlds as well. So I really like her series. I think she does great world building, great characters. But there's so many, like Kristen and PC Cast do a great job. Yeah, there's so many.
Are you a fan of the Twilight series?
I am a fan of the Twilight series. I will say a lot of people don't. A lot of strict vampire lovers did not love her vampires, but I really got into them. It was funny. I did go back and try to read them, and I couldn't really read them again. Like, I'll watch the movies over and over again now, but as far as reading them, I haven't read them in a couple of years.
So are you Team Edward or Team Jacob?
I was Team Edward. Yes, I felt like from the very beginning she liked him, and I feel like the first person you like is usually, it's like the first answer you think of is usually the right answer.
That's a good answer.
Yes, we are Team Edward here. Glenn doesn't know it, but he is too.
Yes.
Well, I'm excited for the next. I'm excited for this next generation of movies that they're supposedly putting out.
I've heard so many different things. I bought Midnight Sun whenever it came out, and I still haven't got a chance to read it yet.
Same.
Okay.
My to be read pile is insane.
Yeah.
Well, I actually read Midnight Sun like when it was not the whole thing, but when it was accidentally released, like a portion of it was accidentally released, like right when the final, it was when she was still writing, part of it was accidentally released, and I read part of it then.
My only problem anymore is like it's very hard for me to like sit down and hold a book and read it, because I like I've got to be doing something, or I'll just sit and like read the same words over and over and over again, and I just cannot get behind the lady who they had, because I wanted to reread them too, because I read them when they first technically came out as audiobooks on like you got like the CD stack that was like this freaking big to read, but the lady that they have reading them on Audible, I just have a thing. I've got to be able to stand the person's voice who's reading it, and I feel like the way she's reading it, and I understand that they're, you know, a young adult, but I feel like she's kind of talking to you like you're stupid, and I'm like nope, not vibing with the voice.
I really like audiobooks, but that has happened to me before. Like I started an audiobook and I did not like the voice. So now every time I like listen to a little clip that they have so I can make sure that I like the voice.
I highly recommend if you are a person who likes British accents, and you happen to also like Harry Potter, the gentleman who reads the Harry Potter books on Audible, Jim Dale.
Okay.
Like I will just put on the Sorcerer's Stone to fall asleep to, because I love listening to him talk.
Nice.
I think I'm like the only one that doesn't get into the audiobooks. Like, I don't know. I've tried them. I just like I have to have the physical book.
It's funny. I like to have the physical book just to here. I've got it sitting beside me, but I'm not actually I'm gonna have to listen to it, because I've got to be like the ADHD gets me, and I've got to be like on the move cleaning, and that's why like podcasts and audiobooks are so much my thing.
Yeah, I just listened to Dracul, which was the prequel to Dracula, the lost pages that Bram Stoker wrote, but weren't originally published. So Dacre Stoker and J.D. Barker wrote Dracul, and that was a really neat story to listen to. The voice is very good.
Well, I did add your books to the Amazon because I noticed you had some like young adult romance series that looked really good, so I added those into my cart. So.
Oh, fun! Thank you. Yes, I do. I kind of genre hop, so I have there college to new adult romance as well as the YA fantasy.
Case
my brain
now.
Well, my brain like can't take putting my characters in peril for too long. So once I write kind of like my heavy fantasy, then I go over and I switch and I write a fun romance where the worst thing that can happen is, you know, somebody would break up with you.
Now, have you thought about taking like, I guess, genre hopping a little bit more and making it into like the spicy side?
I haven't. No, I haven't. I'm very much a clean, like PG. That's what I like to watch and read as well. So PG-13-ish, PG-16-ish for me. So I don't think I could write the spicy.
That's fair.
I've never read one, so I have nothing to.
I
You
despise
haven't
it.
And it's not like I never read them. Sometimes I read them, but I'll just usually skip over the scenes because I'm more interested in the story than the other parts. So.
I have a list of recommendations for you, Glenn.
Yep,
Well,
Glenn, you need to get on that.
Yeah, I still want to get Honey Cummings' Bigfoot one. So yeah, so she writes cryptid erotica. So.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I had no idea when I had her on the show because, like you, she does a lot of research for her characters, and
Well, she writes
she
fantasy and
put
everything
herself out
too.
there. Yeah, she does. But she thought we were inviting her over for that, and she come out, and I was like, so, yeah.
And I was just like, yes, tell me more.
Salty Dog says, Tricia, I believe that joy is only beneficial when it is shared with others. Do you believe that the young people of America are solely into good Lord, I already keep pronouncing
Aggrandizement and self-indulgence.
Thank you, because my Tennessee redneck couldn't translate.
I'm surprised my West Virginia Appalachian could.
I haven't heard that word either, but I'll just go with the self-indulgence, which is pretty close to the other one too.
I'm thinking like big ego. I'm thinking aggrandizement, big ego.
Right, like so they're into like looking at pictures of themselves on their phones. I don't think so. I don't see that. I mean, my kids are 20, 22-ish, so around that. But I don't know. I mean, obviously there are people that are very ego and self-indulgent driven. I think that would be throughout all time. There are people that are more prone to that, right? So I don't know if it's more. It's hard to tell if it's more because I think social media really, we only see one side of people. People only give us maybe their best side or the side they want us to see, right? So you don't really know. A lot of times,
it's very dependent upon your area too. I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe so. Maybe that's true.
Because I do see like even like, you know, a lot of there. It seems like it's very 50-50. You've got like you'll have like at least half that are well-formed human beings, have been raised properly, and then the others that are just like.
And those are the ones we elect to political office.
And maybe, I mean, those are the ones you see too more, right? I mean, those are the ones that their pictures come up more on social media. They're advertising themselves more. My kids don't even get on social media, and they never really wanted to or did. But I mean, I think that's an extreme too, right? So.
Hi, Chris.
You know, it's funny you say that. I have 2 grandchildren, and one my son, my granddaughter, nothing online with her, and she's 3. Now my daughter,
well, she's 3.
Yeah.
No. Hear me out. Wyatt is 3. He can do anything with an iPad or an iPhone. He knows all of it. He knows how to do YouTube, Snapchat, and I'm like, this is a little much. So I've got like over here, and I'm trying to talk to my wife about how I try and reel them in. And she's like, you can't. They're going to raise the kids the way they want to. And I'm like, okay. So
well, and I mean, just because they know how to do it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be like.
Well, I mean, Paige supervises him. She doesn't let him unsupervised. But yeah, it's like total. So I can't imagine they're moving from Vermont, hopefully by the end of the year, closer to us when they finally get back together and they're playing and stuff. What the difference is going to be? That's going to be crazy to me.
She's like, here, let's go play with this dollhouse. And he's like, iPad?
Yeah. Salty Dog says that I believe the joy they get from self-absorption is hollow and unhealthy. Like I said, they will only experience real joy when they share it with others. Salty is doing good tonight. Thank you, Salty.
He is. I'm proud.
Very philosophical tonight.
I'm so proud of him.
Must not be drinking, so.
Well, it's not Saturday, so.
We can't encourage him, though.
Well, I was on a podcast this week with someone who was writing books on education of millennials. They said millennials, but I think they even mean younger people than millennials. But like
Is it
people,
Gen? Is it Gen?
I think they're Gen A now.
Did we go from X, Y, and Z back to A, or I
think so.
I don't.
I think they're A now.
I get
Anyway,
confused.
he was saying that it was really good for people, young kids, even elementary age, to start using AI and start using all these things, because these are the tools that they're going to be using when they're high school, college, into their jobs, and they're going to need to know how to use those tools because that's what they're going to be using. So that was an interesting take on educating kids for the next generation of technology.
Do you think kids read books like, I don't know, because I'm 43 and I used to read books like crazy. Do you think people are into books as much, or?
I think they are. I think there's always going to be a certain percentage of people that just are book lovers or story lovers. I mean, I usually listen because when I'm driving or when I'm exercising or when I'm unloading the dishwasher, I'm listening to a book because that's most of the time I have. So, but I used to read more when I had time to sit down. But I think there's always those readers. If you're, yeah.
I get in trouble. I like to go into the old bookstores or the used bookstores.
That's fine.
Yeah, and I get in trouble there. I spend so much.
I went into a Barnes and Noble not too long ago and sat down at the table with a stack this big, and I was like, oh, I can't justify spending all this money.
Yes, just do it. Just do it.
Not brand new. I couldn't. I was like,
store, got 2 bags for $30.
I was like, picture, I'll find that on Amazon later. Picture, I'll find that on Amazon later. Picture.
Well, I noticed too, because I don't have a Kindle, I have a Nook, but I noticed the Kindle books are so much cheaper than the Barnes and Noble one. So
interesting.
Well, the only thing with the Kindle anymore is, you can it seems like they are limiting on how many, okay, maybe I want to stock up my Kindle library, like my bookshelf at home, but it's like, no, you can have 6 books in here. And I'm like, no, I need them all.
Was that the Kindle Unlimited program?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe it was, maybe Kindle Unlimited was limiting how much smut I was allowed to keep in my Kindle. To be fair,
doesn't do that. The Nook doesn't do that.
Might need to make the switch then.
Not that I would know about that, but
I see you.
Yeah, my favorite memory as a kid is my grandparents. Every time we went and saw them, they took me to this used bookstore in St. Petersburg, Florida. And yeah, it'd be neat to see if it's still there or still. Yeah, that was my favorite.
I just remember getting my first library card and always going in the summer and just getting, God, I'd read 15 books in a week.
Yeah.
Way back.
Me and my dad used to, whenever I was with him every other weekend, we would just go spend a Saturday down at the Cabell County Public Library all day. There's me sitting in the aisle with a stack full of books on Roswell and just I need all the alien books.
Salty Dog is saying young Americans have a total lack of self-restraint and discipline as people in the country are now emotionally coddled from the cradle to the grave. Can't disagree. And that will be the last thought on the subject.
He's being so respectful tonight.
Very distinguished.
Very. Well, when
again, I think that has to do with where you're from too, of the level of coddling.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say when you go into the bookstore, Tricia, and you want to just relax and read, what's the first section you go to?
The YA fantasy or the fantasy section, definitely, yeah. They have all the pretty covers. Nobody's dying. There's no murders. Well, people are dying, but mostly just the bad guys. So I am all about fantasy. When everything else burns, then I'm all about fantasy.
They're killing me anymore in the bookstore too, because now they are coloring the all sides.
Oh, that's so
and I'm like,
pretty.
oh, colorful.
I know. Yeah. So we didn't have a Barnes and Noble near us for a long time, and my town just got one 2 miles from my house. And I went to the grand opening, and I couldn't believe it, because we have 2nd and Charles, but that's even kind of far. So I haven't been there a long time either. So yeah, it was really cool that I was like, wow, this is a whole different world. And probably I haven't been to a Barnes and Noble in, I don't know, 5 years. More.
Yeah, I like sat there in one for like 2 hours, and I was just trying to read up as much of all this as I can to figure out, okay, which one of these am I spending my money on?
See, I go to the true crime section. That's my first section.
The horror section at Barnes and Noble.
Good.
Like the
Solid.
true crime. Yeah, not like the James Patterson stuff, but like the
legit stuff.
Yeah, like the stuff on serial killers and stuff. That's like my first section I go to.
Science fiction, shocker.
Science
fiction. So Tricia, what does it feel like to go into a bookstore and see your book? That's got to be a euphoric feeling.
Yes, the first time I ever saw my book was the 2nd Charles. So I was like, somebody gave it away. Does that mean they didn't like it, or they just didn't have enough room? But yeah, so other bookstores, I like see my books all the time. Yeah.
That's got to be a great feeling.
Yeah.
Just you ever just sitting there holding it, flipping through it, go, man, this is a great author.
that would be me just standing behind it like, have you read this? Oh my God. Yeah, no, here, y'all take one. Come on, you need one. It's great. Look at this cover art.
It's like the best thing I do is take my friends to my book cons, because they can stand beside my table and pretend to be, they can, they're the interested people that bring all the other interested people.
Ooh, I need to go to a book con.
Salty Dog says, I thoroughly believe in the old adage that truth is stranger than fiction. I almost exclusively read nonfiction. So
I do love some nonfiction.
See, Salty was being so good.
Yeah, you encouraged him. My Barnes and Noble has an entire serial killer section dedicated to Andy. That's one of our Saturday co-hosts. Poor Andy.
Am I going to cover Andy on my podcast someday?
Probably. So probably. Warren says, does the adult bookstore count? No, Warren, it doesn't. So. The people in Atlanta must be illiterate, because all Barnes and Nobles moved out of Atlanta. True story.
Yeah, I live in a pretty small town, and they opened one here. I was really surprised. I mean, they closed it we had one, and they closed it 10 years ago, and 2nd Charles took over where the Barnes and Noble was, and now our Barnes and Noble is near Costco. So I don't know.
Make a day.
Or Costco doesn't sell books anymore, right? So, or not as many. I don't know if you heard that.
Yeah, I did. I'm trying to think if ours does or not. I don't recall seeing any. That doesn't
ours
mean
was children's books still, but the big name adult books aren't there anymore.
Gotcha. Salty
we
says,
don't.
Tricia, I came in a little late. What is the name of your book? Well, she has 5.
I have several books. The Realm Chronicles series, which is the Fae fantasy series, starts with To Be a Fae Queen. If you like vampires and witches, then the Kingdom Journal starts with Kingdom of Embers.
All right, and her link is in the show description as well, so you can go there and find out all about her. So don't stalk her, just read her stuff. So.
Polite stalking.
Polite stalking is fine. I have people emailing me all the time, and I love it.
That's good. That's good. Thanks to YouTube, no one reads anymore. That's not entirely.
Lies.
I think I do more of mine on the Kindle anymore. I put it on the iPad and I prop up and go to start reading and fall asleep promptly as an old man. But I do have, in case you haven't noticed, I got a ton of books behind me. Mrs. said I couldn't buy anymore, so that's why I switched to Kindle.
Yeah, I only have that little bookcase that you see back there because yes, my book habit was curtailed as well.
Yeah. Well, some of mine are for teaching. I was a paramedic instructor, so some of them are for teaching and firefighter teaching, but most of them are science fiction, alternate history, or sports. So, sorry, I know the girls hate the sports. So,
I like the sports.
Sports romance is great.
Okay, Tricia, do you have a famous or a favorite football, baseball team, anything? Are you any type of sports fan?
We don't watch it very much. We did watch the what's it called, the Super Bowl, because we used to live in Philly, so we rooted for the Eagles. So we were very happy for them. I don't watch sports in general.
Okay, gotcha.
Girl after my own heart.
Well, I had a question. One last question. Do you like pickles?
I do like pickles. I don't like sweet pickles. I like either kosher or the dill pickles.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Do you have a Chick-fil-A out by you by any chance?
Oh, we do have Chick-fil-A, yes.
Okay. This is a trick question.
Okay.
It is not a trick question. There is a right and there is a wrong answer.
Go to Chick-fil-A, you get that beautiful, perfect chicken sandwich. Before you get out of the end of the drive-thru, you open it up and you've slung that pickle off onto the windshield of the car behind you. Is that you or?
No, I love the pickles.
Oh, me and Glenn are dying.
I can't stand pickles.
Oh, a restaurant?
You will burn.
Local restaurant here has a hot chicken sandwich, so it's super, super spicy, and they put the pickles with it. It's perfect. Yeah. Sorry, I like pickles.
That's okay. It's okay.
I grew up in the South.
I love them.
I grew up in the South. Those big pickles, big jars at the gas station.
Yes.
I like them, just not on this chicken.
Yeah, I can eat, and I like spicy or maybe like spicy sweet, but yeah, I don't like them on things. I can't do that. I don't know. Casey Salty Dog wants to know if you'll go to prom with him.
No, I don't think my bestie Chris will like that, so I have to decline.
Smart move. Yes, Chris says the pickle industrial complex despises me. And what's bad is one of my routine and favorite guests, she owns a pickle company. I won't tell her this. So actually, I tried her stuff. It's very good.
Too late. I have already written her a strongly worded email about the matter.
It's gonna be our first sponsor. So, all right, we got sidetracked there. Sorry, Tricia.
Great.
Well, you never know what you're going to get asked on some of these shows, I'm sure. So now Salty wants to know if Tricia will go to prom with him. Salty.
Probably I have to say no too. Sorry.
Yeah, it's probably for the best. So.
Yeah, my husband would appreciate that, probably.
Yeah, he might frown on that. He's probably a WWE wrestler or something. So work with me here. We're trying to keep the stalkers away.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he definitely is. WWE.
A very large biker man, lots of tattoos.
No, I definitely have more tattoos than he does. He does work on fast cars.
Just go with it. Cars, just go with it.
Okay, yeah. He could run over you with one of his cars. Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
I can't, so what are the strangest question you've been asked on a podcast besides for the pickle? That's probably it.
Question. I think you guys have the strangest questions so far, definitely.
That sounds about right.
I am kind of strange, so that's why I have these two to balance me out. So
No. Have you met me?
okay, Casey, it's all on you then. So.
Yes.
Well, one of these days they'll straighten me out, but I don't look for it. So, so Tricia, if when you get the idea in your head for the next series, which seems like you're formulating it a little bit, and you start putting it to paper, and you send it to the editor, do you hate the replies back from the editors?
I've learned to expect them. My writing has got better, so that's one thing. I do a couple of passes before it ever goes to the editor. So my writing has gotten better, so that helps. But also, like, not this book, but the book before this one, like the fourth book in the series, she sent it back to me the first time. She said, I hate the first half of it. Well, what she said is, I hate chapters 1 through 10. And then I was thinking, there's only 20 chapters. Like, she hates half the book. And so she was like, they're boring. Somebody's going to stop reading this. You have to make it more exciting. So I had to go back through and really put more like action and adventure in the first half that was hard to hear.
My question when it comes to things like that is I'd be like, but you're one person. Yeah, okay, you find it boring. That doesn't mean everybody else is going to.
Yeah, but you have to trust an editor, especially if they're like used to doing YA. I mean, because it is YA, it does have to move fast, and they do have to have those things that are going to keep their attention. And you can't just do all character development or all world building or all descriptions, but you have to like mix in all of those things. So yeah, but right. Yeah, you're right. It's only one person, but I do.
Yeah, I think I'd just end up having to self-publish because I'd be like, you're just one person. You just because you find it boring doesn't mean everybody else is going to.
But I do self-publish, and I did choose my editor. So yeah.
We had one author reply that he reads it, he puts it in his back unread in his inbox, and his wife has to talk him down before he totally quits writing.
But yeah, I can. Yeah, they are hard. It is hard sometimes.
That would probably be me.
It's tough love stuff, right?
Like you read it first and you explain it to me nicely before I go find this person and throat punch them.
Yeah, well, it's, some people don't take criticism well. I was on the hazmat team at the fire department, and we were issued these great protocols for all the new hazmat stuff. And so we're going through it and circling it in red, what's wrong, and sending it back and putting notes, sending it back to the fire chief. Well, come to find out he wrote them, and that was his final word. And we were like, oh. Oh, we didn't know that. Well, you're still wrong, but we're sorry.
Yeah, good to know expectations when you get documents like that.
Yeah, should have told us, especially when you're our boss. So, how do you pick an editor? I mean, is it? I can't, because I am thinking of writing a book, but one of my greatest fears, and I know this sounds weird, is I don't like to speak in public, but when I put something out like that, I'm afraid I'm going to get it back and be like, oh, devastated, So how do you pick that person?
Well, you probably are. And my first editor was actually one of my best friends. And so that was even doubly hard for me because I knew, like, we had a personal relationship. And so for her to like nitpick and pick apart my books was even more hurtful for me. And eventually we realized that maybe this wasn't the best relationship. So, but she was part of a editing team, an editing company. So there was another editor in her same company that I now use. And so I've been very lucky with that. And there's a proofreader too that does the final proofreading. And it's basically been the same one for the whole series, which is great because having that knowledge and remembering who the characters are and having that follow through on the series is very important too, because when I first started doing this, I didn't keep outlines. So I did start keeping outlines for series because I realized that it's hard to go back through a whole book and find whatever scene you need to find.
Like my first email would be like, Cheyenne, you can't use ain't 700 times in the whole book.
Sure you can.
Change that first.
Salty Dog says, this may come as quite a surprise to Glenn, especially Shay, but he is a writer and he's written over 70 poems.
Oh, that's neat. I cannot write poetry.
I am skeptical.
Yeah.
I am skeptical.
And we need a paranormal guys poem, so an official poem. So
I am really appreciating Chris's question here.
Oh, well, I was going to post it, but I was afraid that Tricia wouldn't know what it is. We do a news show every day, and there's a AI. It works with all the national weather services around the world, and it's an AI generated 3D wind. So it's like Google Earth, except it shows how the wind's blowing. So yeah, it's one of the favorite things on my news show if the fans request that one. So
Chris believes that you should consider writing a book about the excellence of 3D globe type wind maps and how they make viewers more informed and relaxed. I think that would have to be an audiobook. Yeah.
Oh, and maybe the sound of the wind. But here in Colorado, we have some really bad winds. They would make me more anxious. It would be like a huge line over Colorado.
Oh, I have a question.
Go
for you. This is the most important question.
Oh.
How do you feel about Taylor Swift?
Oh, geez.
I like Taylor Swift. Yeah, I haven't followed as much of her recent work, but my niece does. And so when I go visit her, we watch a lot of Taylor Swift and we listen to a lot of Taylor Swift.
Good answer. I'm buying your books now.
Oh, good.
I was going to before, but
well, thank you.
Meow, 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 meow.
It's an inside joke. Sorry, Tricia. So, if the show's a total train wreck, you just pay attention to me, and my allergies usually bother me.
They've been really bad here of late. It's all the wind.
Yeah. Well, actually, it was one of our last shows. The guests kept their internet getting blown out by the wind. So, yeah, these storms have been a bit crazy here lately. So, and it's winter again in Atlanta, and it was 80 yesterday. I don't get this.
Oh, we had snow today. We had snow, rain, and high winds.
It was 60 this morning, and it's like 30 now.
Oh, wow. That's like Colorado weather.
Yeah, I was going to ask, you're still in Colorado?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so you're used to lots of snow.
You can keep it.
Yeah, my family is in Georgia too, so I've been hearing their back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah, it's been nuts this year. I had to go visit my mom in Knoxville in the Great Smoky Mountains. It's blizzarded in Atlanta and nothing in Knoxville. So I'm like, what the it left me. So well, one of the questions we always ask, Tricia, and I know we asked before, but we'll ask again. Have you ever had any paranormal experiences?
Most of my paranormal experience these days come from messages from my sister. And some people so my sister passed away 2 years ago, and some people would say that I just notice things more, but I believe that she's sending me messages. So like on the anniversary of her death, it was just a couple of weeks ago, like I just randomly picked this Netflix series to watch while I was running, and so her name was Marie, and it had a character with a sister's name that was Marie that was getting married, and it was just so similar to her life. And I have to believe that my sister pointed me towards that. So, yeah, that's my most paranormal experience.
Well, there's a lot of truth to that too. So, and numbers I hear, like angel numbers and stuff like that. I hear. So if you start seeing regular numbers show up, it's somebody trying to send you I don't know where you go to decode the numbers, but yeah, I hear that quite
Google.
Well, AI, yeah. So, Salty says he's on the coast of South Carolina. The weather there is bipolar. So, and Rodney says it's very cold in Ireland now as well. All right,
Oh boy.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we asked you before, but I don't recall your answer. So where do you find your most inspiration for writing?
It's just random. Like for my fairy series, I saw a picture of a fairy and she was kind of crouched down in the grass and she looked anxious, and I just really loved the picture. So I started thinking about the character that was like, what was she doing? Why was she anxious? And just, yeah. And now it's a 5-book series. So it can be very random of just, seeing an image or thinking about a character in a world that, what is their challenge? What are their fears? What is going to be their path in life? And so, yeah.
Very cool.
Now, do you believe in fairies and stuff like that?
I kind of do. I was on another vampire show the other day, and especially listening to this Dracul by Bram Stoker, because it was interesting. They were talking about the fact that he originally wanted it published in a newspaper, and he was convinced that, or he told the publisher of the newspaper that this actually happened. Like these were his friends, and he knew these people, but at the time it was in London, and it's time of Jack the Ripper and things like that. So there were all these murders in London, and they didn't want to scare people more, so they refused to publish it in the newspaper. So he got published as a book. But many other places all over the world did publish it in newspapers and magazines. So that was really eerie and cool to hear them talk about like that story.
I would think so, yeah. But how does the newspaper publish? I mean, they just do like snippets, or?
Right, they do it in a series. Like they do just like a page a week, or every twice a week or something like that.
Okay, like a tease to keep you coming back. Okay,
right.
Yeah, well, it was a different era back then too. So.
Right, you only had newspapers. You didn't have radio or.
Yeah, and now can you even still buy a newspaper? I mean, maybe in some small rural town. Can you? Okay. I don't think I've seen an AJC, an Atlanta Journal-Constitution, in a long time, but I guess. Everything's online now. What do you think about these writers that are tapping into AI? That's the newest thing.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of writers will start generate, especially very formulaic, like mysteries. The cozy mysteries, I've heard of authors, they'll say, okay, I want a cozy mystery with a small town, and the person's a teacher, and the person that gets killed is the principal, and start me a story. And so a lot of authors, or not a lot, several authors have told me, especially ones that publish very often, like once a month, these authors are publishing. So it just starts the story for them. It may just give them a couple of pages, and then they have to round it out and build the characters and build all the suspense to it. So it's almost like generating ideas for them to kind of catapult their story. So it's interesting.
So what's your favorite classic book, classic literature?
Gone with the Wind, definitely.
Oh, I haven't read that one yet. I know it's long.
Nice.
Oh, it's so long, but it's so good. Yeah.
Good choice. Yeah. Well, you grew up in the South. You said Georgia, right?
Yeah, I grew up in Georgia. So yes, it was I lived in Atlanta for 7 years. So yeah.
Was it, just side question, and school growing up, was that mandatory reading because you were here in Atlanta, or was it just when you were? No, I'm asking because I grew up in Virginia, and we had to read a lot about the Revolutionary soldiers and stuff like that. So
No, I don't remember reading. I read it in high school. I mean, I grew up in South Georgia, in rural South Georgia, where we actually had cotton fields right there. But no, it wasn't required reading. But I remember reading it like 2 or 3 times. I was obsessed. I don't know why. So,
Yeah.
Wow.
Aside from the Shakespeare and the Dickens and the Huck Finn stuff like that, but yeah,
Grace the Wrath,
yeah, they pick certain ones from the Revolutionary era about George Washington because his home was right around the corner, and so we were inundated with that. So I didn't know if maybe since you were from here, if that was the case. So
Now I'll give you a suggestion. It's not classic lit, but you were talking about ones that they had you read in high school. One from around here. It's a local West Virginia author who grew up. Well, she grew up like all around the country because her family moved all the time. But her father was from Welch, West Virginia, and it's called The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls. I feel like it is a book that everybody needs to read once in their life. Like if you think that you grew up rough, you're wrong. You're wrong. I had to do I did a whole big project on the book because it's just each chapter is just so dumbfounding. This how nutty her parents were and the stuff that they made them do. It mind-boggling. I've read it probably 10 times. It's a great book, and if you get the audiobook on Audible, she reads it herself.
Oh,
oh, nice. Yeah.
See, we didn't, because I'm from Springfield, Illinois. We didn't really have to read stuff on Lincoln, really.
I think it was just our teacher's choice on that one because of the type of book that it was. Because like it's funny, it's sad, it's depressing, it's really depressing, a little funny again. But it's whenever I read it, I was just like, oh my God. And I thought that I had stuff rough sometimes. Okay. All right.
Wendell asked, why don't we have fairies in the USA? Why are you yelling, Wendell?
Who says that we don't?
I don't.
Wendell?
Rodney says there's leprechauns in Ireland. So
Yep.
Well, if the fairies have wings, then it seems like they could fly across the ocean. So, yeah.
Good thing. They'd spread out.
Or they could get on an airplane. Right.
True. Sneak on. So, yeah. Hijack the thing.
Well, I think fairies, well, at least my fairies in the human realm can make themselves look like anything they want to. So,
Okay.
that works too.
I will be honest. I'm not 100% up on fairies, so I won't say I don't believe in them. My wife does, but I just don't know much about them. So,
Well, there are many different renditions of them too.
well, I mean, I know the classic versions, like that, but some of the more modern stuff, I really don't know much about. So that's why I rely on my girls here to help me out. So y'all were talking about the vampire movie, and I didn't watch it, but ironically enough, one of them was filmed here in Atlanta, and I was an extra.
Yes.
In it.
Very fun.
I was
vampires are real.
Which one was that?
We were on duty at the fire station, and they needed a paramedic, and our fire department supplied a lot of the people, and they were like,
Now, were you dressed as a paramedic or just as?
Yeah, I was dressed as a paramedic. I was on the hazmat team for some response or something. I don't remember.
Was it the Vampire Diaries that was filmed near Atlanta?
Yeah, Vampire Diaries. That's right. Yes.
Oh, I thought you were talking about you were an extra in one of the Twilight films. I was like,
I was in that too. I was in Twilight, and I've been in the
but as a paramedic in Twilight.
Yeah.
When the frick was there a paramedic in Twilight?
Glenn, you need to watch them.
They may have cut the scene. I don't know. Well, I mean, It just was
That's
no
going to
big deal
drive
to
me nuts.
It was no, well, like The Rock, he did the game show where they had to climb across a thing, jump down and beat a rock up into smithereens and then climb a moving stair. There was this great big obstacle course. I was a paramedic there and we had to go out on the field for somebody and everybody's like, "Did you see yourself?" And I'm like, "No, I was actually working that time." So Salty says The Water is Wide is a great book by Charleston author Pat Conroy. And Chris says the dwarf guy in our fraternity had red hair and looked like a leprechaun. So don't tell me.
There you go.
Wendell says, wouldn't that be elemental instead of fairies?
There could be both. Maybe there are elemental fairies.
Could be. All right, Tricia, I want you to have the last word. So the last few minutes are yours. Please tell us where they can find your stuff, find you, send you messages. And I hope we didn't scare you away so you'll come back again. So,
no, not at all.
It's a weird pickle question. So.
Well, thank you for having me again. My website is triciacopeland.com. If you go there, you can get 2 free short stories, whether you like romance or fantasy or both. And that's a great way to start my series, especially my Fae series. I have a short story that starts that series. You can test that out and see if you like it. The Realm Chronicle series is the Fae series, and the Witch kind of vampire crossover series are the Kingdom Journal series, and they can be found. All the print books can be found wide in ebook store, but the ebooks and audiobooks on Amazon and Audible and Kindle and KU.
Awesome. Hopefully you will get some sales from us. So. Well, I look forward to you coming back, especially when you get your new books out. So tell me, say I want to go on the Weird Guy show with the pickle. So
the one where they love pickles.
Yeah, use that. So I'm gonna email Mickey and ask him his opinion first. Tricia, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it, and thank you for humoring us with some of our stupid questions. Sometimes.
Well, thank you so much, and I'll see you guys later.
All right, have a great one,
Thank you,
Tricia.
Tricia.
We'll see you soon. All right,
you too. Bye.
That was great. Except for, I probably ruined it. And Chris said, Glenn was nominated for Best Supporting First Responder in a Motion Picture. Wendell, we had asked her before if she'd seen Bigfoot, and she had not. And I was hoping she had since she was in Denver. So we tried. So, all right. Well, as everyone knows, no Salty. I was about to say we are lucky to have 2 guests as usual, and our second guest tonight is also a return guest. So everybody be nice to her. I don't know if we asked her the pickle question, but she was watching.
But we will.
Oh, just hush. So Anne is a great sport, a great author, and we are glad to have her back. Hello, Anne. How are you?
Hi. Hey, you guys.
Wow.
I've been listening. I'm ready.
Uh-oh. You're ready.
So
I like pickles.
Okay.
On the chicken sandwich.
I haven't had pickles on a chicken sandwich, but I would give it a shot. Heck yeah. I would try it. And let's see. Casey left, but I do like Taylor Swift. I don't think I'm
favorite album.
See, I was gonna say I don't think I'm as fluent. I know a lot of her songs, and I only know that because I watched on TV when they did her conference. You could, was it Amazon, Netflix? I don't know where, but I could watch. The big, is it Eras tour with my daughter, and I was sitting there song after song going, dang, I know a lot of Taylor Swift songs. Holy cow, I've been around for a long time since she was country, right?
Yeah.
So I don't really have a favorite because I like so many of them.
Okay.
And what else? Glenn, I was thinking about Twilight and trying to remember paramedics on it. But I keep going back to, okay, I'm I'm old enough that when she was being kind of mouthy with her dad, I think it was the first one, second one or something, she was angry at the
Oh.
dad. I'm so old now that I was like, hey, be nice to your dad. He's a good guy, you know, he's trying to help you out. He's just trying to be a good dad. And then I looked at my husband and said, I'm old. Now I know.
You said that and it just clicked for me. I bet it was in the first one when the fisherman was killed.
Yes.
And they are at the police station and they're rolling the body away on the gurney.
Do you remember any of that, Glenn? Is it coming back to you now?
I've done so many, and I know that sounds bad, but I should have an IMDb page. I would have to go back and look at some of the things I've been in. No, I remember one. I don't know if it was that one though. There was like a school bus overturned, and there was like chemicals in the creek, and I don't know which one that was, but it was some. That might have been something totally different though.
It might have been real life, and you're just mixing it all up now. Because like me, you're old too. So
exactly. Yeah. I'm starting to think that maybe some of the things didn't really happen that did happen.
So, anyways, thanks for having me back. Last time I was here, Shay wasn't here, Casey wasn't here, so this is exciting. This is all new.
Well, wait, yes, it was Amanda last time. I don't remember.
No, it was. We talked about Bigfoots. It was a guy. He just done a film.
Greg.
Yeah. We were talking Bigfoot.
Yeah, that's right. Greg, yeah, he's still around. He's off filming another movie, so.
Okay.
No. Yeah, no, Chris, I do not have an IMDb. I probably need to. So, but that way I could remember, or my kids could go back. So, the only one I was really the most proud of was the Avengers one. So that was because I'm a Marvel superheroes kind of guy. So. That was the only one. Well, we just got rid of Casey. We were done with her.
Wow, she just got nixed. Yeah. Makes me nervous. What am I going to do wrong?
She was not happy about Avengers.
She was like, "I'm out." He brought up Avengers again, and that's enough. I'm done.
We're over Endgame. We're not talking about it.
None of that.
Oh, don't worry. They've already come out with so many things past then, and I'm so far behind. So. I'm never going to get caught up.
I'm just waiting for Doomsday so we can get Robert Downey Jr. back.
Oh, yes. Having watched the last one with him, I don't want to ruin it if nobody's watched it, but yes, I would like that.
I cried like a baby.
You know, I asked my son to watch Venom, the new Venom, the latest one, because I'm afraid of the ending is going to make me cry. And he said, yeah, you probably should not watch it.
We were discussing that earlier, that I happened to walk in on my mom and my nephew watching the end of it. And I was like, oh God, no.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah, he was like, I don't know if you should watch that one, Mom, because he knows I don't like sad, teary-eyed endings.
Oh, to be fair, there's a possibility.
That's what I said. Is there at least a possibility that
there's a possibility?
There's always got to be a possibility, even if we have to turn back time.
He says something, and you'll.
Okay, fingers crossed.
Because me and my mom were both like, but he said.
Good. All right, without giving the end away, which we kind of almost did, but good. So
yeah, we did not discuss fashions of which things may and or may not have happened. So
that's true.
It's true. So, Casey, did we run you off there? It was talking about the comic book stuff, or
sorry that the Avengers offended you. I apologize.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I know. I was like, gosh, she doesn't like me already. She's out.
No, I was worried about my audio, so I had to. So nope, you didn't run me off.
Okay, good. Not yet. Let's go. Let's see what I do here.
Hey, Ann can fire you at a moment's notice. So she's like Doge on this podcast. So.
Done. Anyway,
I'm sorry.
Thanks for having me back. And all the fun stuff you guys talk about makes it great.
We're just nuts.
Hi, work wife.
Yeah.
I don't know. Are you talking to Mia? Is that who you're talking
Yes,
to?
that is my work wife. She is
Okay.
amazing.
I'm with you, Mia. Some commercials get me too, and I try to suck it up and look away and blink a couple times and pretend that I'm not
Have
crying.
to mute the freaking ASPCA commercials.
Yes. Oh, so I was at my stepsister's funeral years ago. This was like 10 years ago, and I was working really hard to hold it together. Because I'm the crier in the family, bunch of siblings, but they always look at me and like, what's going on? And I'm just bawling. And so I was doing really great, sitting next to my brother, and we were going through, talking to people, and all of a sudden they put on Sarah, what's her face? One of those
Sarah McLachlan.
Yes, and they played the song that they play on one of the commercials, and I just started crying, and I was like, oh my gosh. And my brother goes, you were doing so well. And I said, they're playing the dang song about the puppies and the kitties. I can't handle this. So
it reminds me of a meme that I've been seeing around that's like, fear, yeah, I cry. Sadness, yeah, I cry. Guess what? Happiness, also crying.
Yep. Big tears too. So yeah, those songs get me. Anyway,
they make a pill for the crying. Casey, you were going to say, I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
Well, she can't run me off. She's a Swiftie.
I know, right? I do like, yeah. And my daughter will play it, turn it on. I'm like, yeah, let's listen to some more Taylor Swift.
Glenn's a secret Swiftie.
Shh, don't tell my secrets. So
that's okay. I also like a lot of old school rock and roll 70s, Glenn. All the good stuff, Eagles, all that good stuff back then. So I'm versatile. I grew up on a lot of country too. First boyfriend was into heavy metal, so I got all kinds of heavy metal going, and I know a lot of those songs. So I just feel like I kind of bounce through life when it comes to music, and all over the place.
The very eclectic taste.
Exactly. Yeah. And whatever I choose to write to, it depends on the scene and what's going on or what I'm trying to do. There's been Taylor Swift, where I have a romance part I'm writing. There's been no, I will not watch Old Yellow. So no way. But
no Old Yellow.
I've heard all about it. No way. So yeah, I throw on whatever. Lately I've been doing Supermassive Black Hole.
Oh yeah.
And because it's just worked with the scenes, but I've also been doing Jethro Tull, Bungle in the Jungle, because I'm writing one of my dig site mysteries. Yeah. So all over the place, but I love all kinds of music. That's the fun stuff.
So what's your writing process like?
It's horrible. I used to, when I'm really good, I'm working at 2,000 words a day, and I'm really diligent about that, so much that my hand's starting to hurt, but I keep pushing through, to get done. And, I can put out, 40, 50,000 in a month if I'm doing solid like that, or more. I've done 60K months, which made me really sore. But other times I'm distracted and I'm finding things to do. I pet the cats, I go online and watch some YouTube or do whatever. And it's like, Anne, get your butt back in the chair. What are you doing? We've got books to write. So if my left brain gets going, then I get two brains, or if my right, it kicks out my right brain. So
are you by chance ADHD as well?
I do think I am. The more I go, the more I talk to some of my author friends that are now, being seen and looked, or have gotten some stuff to help them with their ADHD, and they tell me about what they were experiencing. I'm like, that's what that is. Yeah, I finally am figuring it out. So I watch a lot of videos now about ADHD to see, okay, what are some traits? What can I do to help, handle that? Thanks, Chris. It really is. I wish I was like, oh, I'm going to write I write 8 hours a day, and I'm this, amazing, solidly focused writer. But yeah, that's not me.
So what
But you
got
know,
you?
the
More
cat,
than one book
the
at a
cats
time.
need you know, like 4 hours of that attention.
Oh yeah,
and
and they come right here in front of me. I have a split keyboard now, and so they think, oh, she made it so we can sit right in the middle
Middle.
and plant themselves and put their tail out, you know. And it's like, no, 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 that's not what we're doing. Quit! Don't knock my water over again. Oh,
they're like, "Hey, but the couch,
the couch.
but the couch, you
Yeah.
know."
Well, they think I can. If I get up, they sit in my chair, and they're like, when I walk back, they're like, I'm sitting here. What are you doing?
You,
You know,
you
and
got up, so
if they could write, if they get off their lazy butts and start writing the stories, I'm okay with this. But they don't. They just
are
sit
you know
here.
paying their way a little bit.
Yeah, right. Need some entertainment. for people.
Contribute to the household a little bit.
That take your cat to the dentist and see how much that is. Oh my golly.
How many cats do you have?
Currently 3. And one of them
Try 6.
we got up to 4. And unfortunately we lost one. So then we said, I
Aw.
think 3 is good, and they all get along right now. So we'll
Aw.
just and from now on, if we get a kitten, we have to start brushing teeth right away, because the cat dentist stuff is crazy. That's just more than my kids' teeth. It's insane.
Really?
Oh,
I've
yeah.
never heard of a cat dentist.
Oh, I hadn't either till one of our cats was really having problems, and I went in, and she had most of her back teeth were really bad, and that's why her breath stunk so bad, you know. So we had to have a bunch removed that were infected and all whatever.
Like abscessed and
Yeah, and now she's just got these front ones and their fangs, and she's wonderful. She's so much happier.
I bet that's adorable though.
Yeah.
It's just her little.
Yeah. So she's got these little guys, but then, yeah, she's got nothing back here, and she's so much happier because all the bad teeth are out. But it takes your breath away when you get the bill. Oh my. Ugh. So anyway, the new rule is kittens learn that they get their nails clipped and their teeth brushed, period.
So what made
Yes,
you become a
ma'am.
writer?
I didn't want to do it. It wasn't like this is going to be the coolest thing ever. Let's write books.
You have the best answers. Just,
It was like-
I didn't want to do it.
it was like, no, don't make me write these books. No, it's just I didn't. I had lots of big plans in life, you know, when I was younger, and writing was never one of them. I mean, I had an English teacher that he was pretty hard on us. He wouldn't let us use the word get. And for a high schooler, that's hard on you. You know, I can't say get. Come on. It's like you got to get, you know, everything. So, you know, he was kind of my first experience. And we had to write this paper for class, this short story. And I said, oh, I don't know. And he was like, write some literature, write this, that. Think of Edgar Allan Poe, think of the greats, Shakespeare. I was like, I think I'm going to write a romance. And we had to read it in front of class at the podium. And I'm going to write it so that the part I have to read gets pretty spicy. So I did in front of my high school English class, and I didn't have like on the page sex or anything like that. It was just
heavily alluded to.
and I had read my fair share of romances along with Westerns and Stephen King. I read all kinds of stuff. But so I stood up there at the podium and I read the story, and I got to the part where, you know, oh, we're out of time. And there were several guys in my class. They were like, come on, what came next? I'm like, no, sorry, this is just a little story for me.
Cliffhanger.
So it you know, it kind of started there, but I still didn't think, oh, I'm going to go be a writer. I was like, well, maybe I'll be a lawyer. Maybe I'll be a flight attendant. Maybe I'll be an archaeologist. Wait, no, that's a lot of writing. I'm not going to do that. That's too much writing. So I backed out of that, and I just was all over the place. I kept going to college. I did the 10-year plan where it takes you 10 years to do 4. So, and I went state to state trying different colleges because, you know, it's cool. Not really. It was just the way life did it. So it took me forever to get done. And at the end, I had gone through many different degrees. One point it was Spanish.
I was going to say, what did you end up majoring in?
I thought, hey, I'll be a translator and it'll be cool. I was in Arizona at the time, and I thought I'll go down to Mexico and I work for a business where I do, I'm bilingual and it's going to be awesome. Well, then I ended up having to move up to Washington, and UW, University of Washington. I had to work this whole time because I wasn't, Nepo baby or whatever. I didn't come from all that. So I was putting myself through college. So I had to work daytime hours and go at night a lot of times. And UW did not have a Spanish program for evening. So I had like 10 to pick from. And history was out, even though it was fun because, everybody, I kept seeing in movies and reading, oh, you have a history degree, you're not really going to get a job. So what did I do instead? English, because that's so exciting, right? And that's like adventure, not.
I was going to say, oh, philosophy.
What had happened was I went to 4 different colleges to get this degree over that 10-year. And at every single college, they made me take their version of English 101 again. Even though I'd had it by the 4th year college, I'd had it 3 times. I spoke relatively clear English, I thought, but apparently, oh, you need English 101 again, because ours is the best English 101. And I was like, English 101, come on.
I've heard that 3 times already.
I know. So I said, okay, the universe is telling me you better major in English. I mean, how many times do I have to get hit over the head? 4, apparently. But so I majored in English, through creative writing because by that point I was dabbling with stories. I kept reading books that I just didn't love the endings on, and I wanted to write the ending the way I wanted it. So then I thought, well, write your own book. Could be in, if you're that going to be that whiny about it, just write your own dang book and put your own ending on it. Come on, man. I mean, my inner left side is really mean. So she was just bossing me around by that point. And so I wrote a book, did it by hand, 60,000 words, 60K. It was atrocious. I still have it. It was just the worst ever, but I finished it and I thought, there, now, do you like your ending? And I was like, no, this is horrible. Can't you do better than this? So I would,
all right, self.
I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you I can do this. So yeah, it became a little bit of, I can do this. I know I can do this. Come on, So I kept trying, and eventually I got the hang of it, I guess. And over time, that was another 10-year program of learning to be a writer. It's like I like decade-long things. Over time, I published the first one, Nearly Departed in Deadwood, after many years and many adventures along the road. And that one went poosh. It really went big. And ever since then, I just kept going. And it's been a wild ride, since the beginning. And now I'm working on book 39, I think. So I still don't know if I want to be a writer. I'm just doing it. Some days I think it was easier when I was in fast food. And I had to just learn the keyboard on the, cash register. That seems so much easier.
Okay, bun.
Yeah,
cheese,
some days, it appeals because this whole writing gig, it's a big entrepreneur thing, and there's a lot of marketing and a lot of continual learning. This year I have a theme because I have themes for my life apparently now. And it's Old Dog Learns New Tricks, because I'm having to buckle down and reinvest a lot of time in learning things like Kickstarter. I want to know more about Substack. I'm learning ads all over the place. It's just one thing after another. I've got hardcover now with a publisher, where before I did a lot of indie, and I was a publisher for some time. But now that I have a hardcover with a publisher, I'm learning about, okay, how do we go into bookstores? How do we do the library tours? What's different than me being the one versus my publicist? It's just constant learning new stuff. So that's why I say it's, I'm kind of horrible at this because it seems like I should do better by now and know more, but no, I keep learning.
Well, you always got to learn.
I think it's probably like that for everybody. They're just not as honest about it.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. Some people act like in their 50s they know what they're doing. That's right, Chris. It's horrible. Yes. Don't ask about my GPA.
No, I found that very similar to myself. Of like, this ending sucked. I could have written that a lot better.
So you do it. Have you done it?
I haven't finished anything because my mind is like, okay, I've got like a good chunk over here. Oh, other idea. Oh, gotta focus on that for like 6 months, and then here's this other idea.
You've talked about ADHD, right? You were talking about that earlier. So I have a lot of friends that, yes, they also deal with it, but they have multiple projects going, and multiple books that they just hop between. And I am so amazed by their ability to do that, because
I'm thinking maybe in like 10 years, maybe in my 10-year plan here, I'll have like 10 books that come out at the same time because they're all finally finished.
Right. Well, keep going. I mean, I did it, even though, I kept hitting my head against a brick wall, and I still do sometimes. I think I'm just too hard-headed to quit.
Well, I think you kind of have to be to, keep the constant learning. The market's changing, yes. Everything's not solely bookstore anymore. You've got to worry about everything online. And
yes. Bigfoot 911, It's Nearly Departed in Deadwood, which is the one. See if I can do that. Look at that. I did it.
There you go.
That one right there. It's the first in my Deadwood mystery series, and that one I just put out book 14 last fall. This is the new hardcover collector's edition. But that book overall has been my biggest seller since day one. It's just boom. It won the Daphne du Maurier for suspense and mystery. It won the Golden Heart for romantic elements included in a mystery. It's won me so many things, and that series has done amazing for me. I also have big sales with my Jackrabbit Junction mystery series, and that takes place in southeastern Arizona. 3 sisters in their 30s there's some old ex-army or retired army guys looking for babes. They're in their 60s. It's an RV park, kind of wild and woolly, a lot of drinking. Some good times down there. That one does me well as well. And then my husband and I co-write a series that's like the prequel to this. Oh, I did the wrong thing. To the Deadwood series. It's 1870s Deadwood. So it's supernatural, mystery, all that kind of stuff, but back in the 1870s. So you see what was going on then. And then in this series behind me, Violet's dealing with it in the contemporary times. So you get a little bit of both. And then since it's supernatural, there's characters that are in both because...
So you're giving them a little bit of like Yellowstone and then 19 whatever.
Bingo. Yeah, you kind of get a bit of both, which is fun because if you love the one series and the characters, then you read the other, you're like, oh, there's that person, there's this ghost, there's this whatever, and it's kind of a real fun. And then the Jackrabbit series I was talking about, there's a lot of crossover characters. They go back and forth between Arizona and Deadwood. And then I have I have 2 other series, but one of the other series, Dig Site, which is the one I'm working on. That's these books, and that's what I'm writing book 3 of. It's the heroine's brother. So we're down at Admaya Dig Site. It's my Indiana Jones thing, I always wanted to, like I said, I wanted to be an archaeologist, and I really dug into all that, but then the too much writing got me. So I decided to write books because that's less writing. I mean, yeah, it's like my right brain and my left brain don't communicate, or they spite each other often. Oh, you say we're not doing that. Watch what we do,
Well, it's the devil on one shoulder, angel on the other.
Right.
So since you write about supernatural stuff, do you watch the TV show Supernatural?
I have not, but I'm going to. That is one I'm holding on to for when I retire, because I don't want to without thinking about it, pull anything from that series and use it. And then people go, oh, look, she's copying off this series. So I just don't, because I've heard such great things about it. And people say, oh, well, this mythical creature that you have in your book was also in this supernatural episode. So I'm like, I can't watch it until I'm done, with what I'm doing here.
Oh, it's so good. It's a long series, but
I'm looking forward to that. And I'm going to finish the whole Simpsons because, I was there at the beginning and I watched a bunch of them and I quote Homer and, Bart all the time still. But I think the last half, which is 15 years, I have missed out. So when I'm in the retirement home and I'm stuck, I got things planned. I tell my kids, Simpsons, Supernatural, and a couple others that are long running series. Bring them on because I'm going to enjoy them. Yeah, exactly.
I'm with you. I've been there through the whole time. And how do they keep predicting the future?
It's amazing. Those guys have a crystal ball and they sit there and go, let's have this happen. And then you see it and you're like, Homer already told us this 10 years ago.
Yep.
Of course,
Well, I mean, the series has been going on how long? It's clearly a deal. It's clearly a deal with the devil.
Isn't it the longest running now? 30 some years?
I feel like I was 10 or 11 or maybe a little bit younger when it started.
No, Casey. No. Let's not start with that age talk. Come on now.
And you don't want to hear Cheyenne talk then.
Yes.
We're lucky if, well, never mind. She's like 12, so.
I'm close to Glenn.
I would have, I think I would have been lucky if I was like 2 whenever that came out.
Yeah.
Or not born.
Yeah.
or not born. Yeah.
Or not born.
The Simpsons have always been a part of your life, so.
That's right. Yeah, they started in 88, 87?
Oh, God, now I feel old.
I think it's something like that. Yeah, I was in high school.
Okay, and it was not born.
Yeah, I know. You're like my kids who say, you mean in the last century? Last century when you were born? I'm like, shut up.
That's only to Glenn. He came over on the Oregon Trail, so.
It's a true story.
True story. Yeah, I was shooting.
Almost died of dysentery twice.
Oh boy, that was some scary times, huh, Glenn?
Couldn't figure out how to get the safety off my revolver. Died 25 times. So.
How come you didn't learn not to drink from creeks? That are downstream from cattle and whatnot. You should have learned. Come on.
I'm a tough learner. Thought the whiskey would filter it out, but
you can't always teach an old dog new tricks.
Hey. Yeah, there we go. I'm learning. I'm trying though, instead of you can't, because last year I said I can't do it. I can't learn all these new tricks. But this year I have a new attitude.
Well, Glenn's just a lost cause, so.
Aw, no.
Well, what about AI? With that coming out with all as the last author, a lot of people are using that.
Yeah, I've played with it with advertising. Now, I don't know if you remember, I don't know if we even talked about this. Howdy, Greg. When my brother does a lot of my cover art, he's an illustrator as well as an artist. And so he supplies, you see the legs in the background, he'll supply either parts of the cover that we combine, my husband's my graphic artist, or he supplies a whole chunk, that's the cover. And we put it, and then work magic and whatnot. I don't know. My brother and my husband do that. And I just go, oh, I like that. So, I have a lot of art because he does a lot of illustrations that are inside as well. And we use a lot of those illustrations for different things. So I was playing with videos for ads and was looking up some of the AI available. And there's some fun stuff. But then I'm the one I did and some of them I've done, it's mixing his art, on some of it, but then also a little bit of AI and some pictures. I do a lot of photography, so I can throw in some of my stuff and blend in skies. So, initially I was more, oh, great, here comes AI. It's going to screw up everything again. But then as time has gone on and I've seen how different authors are using it. And yeah, there are some that do use it for ideas and whatnot. Whatever you do, whatever tool you have, when Kindle came in to play way back in the, I'm not even going to say when, because that tells you that I was there. Everybody was going, oh my gosh, this is the worst thing ever, that you can just be an author and upload your book and be published. We don't have any gatekeepers. And so, the publishers were the gatekeepers. And so there was a lot of uproar about it. And some people still feel that way. And, that's their right. But I do think that we have some amazing stories because of the freedom and because of the lack of gatekeepers that we wouldn't have had, because a lot of the big pubs, they have to go with marketing and what they think is going to market. And if they're going to invest the money into a project, they are going to need to be pretty sure in their editing and their marketing department, all of them in agreement that, hey, this book is going to go big. Well, a lot of people didn't get through those gates because maybe their theme was a little different. Maybe their setting wasn't quite right. So they were great stories, but you couldn't, they couldn't get through. And I know a lot of authors that tried and had great stories because I read them, off on the side as a fellow critique partner or what have you. But all of a sudden, you could get that book. And, maybe it's one of the things I ran into way back when was, hey, pick a team. Are you going to write mysteries or are you going to write romance? Pick something. You've got to do 60 to 70% of that genre. You can't be throwing 40% mystery, 35% romance. What's the supernatural crap you're throwing in? You couldn't do that. They wanted to put it on a bookshelf under a certain heading of mystery or romance. But because of ebooks, we're able to just go, look at this baby. It's got everything in it. And we can put it on 5 different virtual bookshelves. So if you go to look up mystery, you can find it. If you're looking at romance, you can find it. I think that's a wonderful thing for readers because I like my genres mixed, So I feel like I just blah, 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 blah there. But anyway, that's my thoughts on AI, I guess.
No, that's a great answer because you're right. A lot of people probably wouldn't have gotten through. So,
well, like you said, great stories, but if they didn't fit the niche for the time,
exactly,
then they got passed over. But there are just so it's kind of like I was saying, I would have an issue with it, like an editor, because well, this is just, I'm like, well, you just don't like it. It's not for you.
I know. So I have a wonderful editor. She's edited for magazines and stuff. But before she even gets it, I have a first draft crew that reads chapter by chapter as I write them. And those guys, they're about 12 strong. And I've had most of them since I started way back in the, horse and buggy days. So they come to me and each one has purposes. Like I have one that she's wonderful. She's was a Spanish teacher and a German teacher. So any words I play in with those, anything like that, she comes in and helps me. I have one that she's awesome because her job is to go through and note the places where I made her laugh or wherever she had a question pop in her head to write that question down in the comments. So I know if what I'm doing is eliciting the questions I want or if I'm going the wrong way. So I have 12 of these amazing people doing this. And then it gets done. I look at their edits. I incorporate what I feel is, good, or I add and change as needed. Then it goes to my editor and she gets back and I incorporate what I, agree with on her edits. And then I have a beta crew of 20 to 30 people that they see it then as a whole book. And they read through, and each of them have things they're, focusing on. And I know because we've been together a long time. So if it makes it through the beta crew and the beta crew love it, then I go, okay, we got this. This is going to be good. I don't know what happens if not, because I haven't had that happen, but I think I just keel over in my chair and say, that's it. I'm going to work the window, at a fast food joint now. It's over. So that's kind of my process. And then once I get those guys back, the beta, I address them. I write back to them. They have questions. They get personal one-on-one kind of that way with me. And then put final edits in and my husband formats it and we go live. and up it goes. And then we start, full on marketing, where before we were teasing. Now we're going all in on marketing and go for that for a while. So that's kind of the process of how this goes. So I used to think I'd just write a book and I'd look out the window at the bluebirds, and smile, and it would be all wonderful fun. And wow, this is great. And there's my book, off it goes. But yeah, I didn't get to take that path. So, but it's been amazing, the journey I've had, the people I've met, the experiences, the other authors that are like me, that are, taking a side road. So it's a lot of fun.
That entire process, how long does it take?
Too dang long is how long it takes. I wish I was quicker, but I write these big books, like 120K. And if I wrote half of that, I could probably do it, in 2 months and have it out, something out every 3 months, but I don't. I write longer books. They're series. I have big, long, detailed story Bibles, if you will, that another reader she's helped me keep it all together, and she works with me on that. She's amazing. And so I have to consider, because it's not like an Agatha Christie where we have, here's the Murder on the Orient Express, and now we're going to be over here on the Nile, and we only got one character coming across. I've got the whole crew, and it's just time is lapsing. And so each book, it's these crew of people, and their life continues to go on the page. So I have to continue to keep them along. And book 14 came out last fall. It gets a little, you got to be careful. You don't want to change anything that's drastic, because if you get a binger, wonderful binger like myself, and you start at the beginning, and in a week you've finished all 14 books, which means you didn't go to work, you just read, which is awesome. They're going to catch anything that I bugger up. So I've got to keep my details straight. So there's a lot of attention to detail. And I think your last guest, she touched on that a little bit, the attention to detail, making sure. So every time I get ready to start the next book in that series, so book 15 will be next year, I have to go back through and at least read parts of the books, read my synopsis, read the little notes I have for each book that I'm like, remember, pull this thread through. We got to keep this thing going. So I have to go through all that and make sure I consider all that stuff.
Well, I can tell you really have a passion for it.
I'm not supposed to. This isn't what I was going to do.
It's all right.
You're going to be a rock star. That's what.
I know, right? Thank you. It is a lot of fun when it's working, when everything's going and exciting things happen, and you meet people and you talk to readers that love the stories. It's wonderful. It's very uplifting.
I think it's cool to be a writer. I think that's like one of the coolest jobs.
Do you see all the lines? You can't see them all.
Salty dog.
It's a little weird.
And do you think that AI has the potential to become the creative crutch to the point that sometime in the near future, it will begin to snuff out the human singularity creative process? Hey, and I got through the big words on that one.
I don't know. That was my fear last year. And I've done a lot of meditation and reading and, self-talk to go, yeah, you could, AI could do a lot of things. Can it switch up metaphors like I do and bungle them and make them funny? I don't know, because AI is going to do it right. Can it do some of the things that as a human that we can come up with? I mean, it can come up with, I know a lot of authors will say, it was Tricia, right? That was before me. Help me with this idea. I've got a small town. I've got this. And that works fine. And it can be used that way. But one of the favorite for me, creative process wise, was I've hit a block and I'm trying to think of what comes next. And I have a plan. I had an outline. I never listened to my own outlines. But I had this idea, but all of a sudden here comes this amazing idea out of nowhere while I'm doing dishes, and I just go, oh my God, that's it. That's a twist nobody ever thought, you know? And it's not one that it seems like AI would rationally come up with, because AI would go, what the heck? That's just
Well,
out there.
that doesn't go along with this, and that contradicts this.
Right. And all the fans, all the readers of this comment are saying this. And so, yeah, I don't know. Maybe in time it'll be creative. And aren't there movies out there like that where AI is now creative and it's like people fall in love with it or something? Maybe. If not, we should put that out there. And Glenn, you can be a paramedic in it.
I believe that was a Joaquin Phoenix film.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah.
Her.
Yep.
So there you go. I don't know. It could happen, or it could be like Snake Plissken in Escape from LA, and everything shuts down. Who knows? Big sun flare and it knocks everything out.
I think it comes to how you use it in those situations of like, okay, well, here's the gist of what I got, and maybe you're using it as like okay, well, I don't agree with 70% of what it gave me, but it gave me this, and I can go off that. And
right.
I think it just depends on the depth of which you use it.
I like AI's marketing. I'll tell you this quick story. So I'm working on a Facebook ad, and Facebook has AI now where it will suggest some hook lines for you that goes at the bottom of your little ad. And I had like 10 written out that I'd studied ads, what people were using, what I liked, and I'd written all those out. Boop, 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 boop. And I got to the part of creating the ad, and I looked at it, and I typed in mine. And then I said, do you want to see what AI has to come up with? And I thought, yeah, sure. Let's see. And I looked and I hit it. And the first one was like, warning, this book will do something. And I was like, that thing is better than mine. Oh my gosh, that's it. I was like, that's it. Why did I even try? What else does AI have to say? So then I said, okay, I'll tell you what, AI, I'm going to take your warning and some other part, but I'm going to add to it with mine that I think is really good. And then I'm going to put my spin on yours. So I'm really stealing from AI instead of AI stealing from me. And then I felt better about it.
Well, so AI steals from you off of yours, but then you return the favor and steal back.
So we're partners. Yeah. And I had to accept that. Hey, we're going to be partners in this. And, since it's marketing, I said, okay, I'll be your partner then, AI. You don't get to create my books. That's me. I get to do that because that's the cool part. But if you want to do some of the things I really hate, that's cool. And if you'd like to work on my bookkeeping next, by all means, come on over. We'll sit down next to each other. I'll give you the walkthrough for 1 month. And you're pretty smart. I expect you to take it over from there. And then I'm hands off. Get me good tax benefits if you could. Then I'm all in. And do the floor. Get the Roomba in here and do the floor. That'd be great.
Just while you're here, just clean the whole.
There's spider webs up over there. Could you get those too while you're at it?
The toilet could use a good cleaning. You're here. Just go ahead.
That robot will shoot you in the back of the head in your sleep. So it's all the toilet.
So I used to be more upset about AI, but my kids said, and they're Gen Zs, and they're like, chill, mom. You're making this worse than it is. You Gen Xers, you usually are pretty laid back, eating your Pop-Tarts, watching movies, say, leave me alone. But you're getting worked up here, so just chill out like a good Gen Xer and just go back in your cave, enjoy your shows, and here's another Pop-Tart, mom. So, it made me
real think, question, which kind of Pop-Tart?
Strawberry. I'm old school.
Damn it.
What are you?
Yes.
What are you?
Wild berry.
See, those are good. But when I was growing up, we just had strawberry. Maple was fancy at our little small hometown store. And we didn't have all the others.
I want original wild berry with just the sheet of purple and teal frosting on the front.
Do you eat it by layers? Because I like to toast it, take the edges off, and then take the top and scrape off the jelly fake stuff, and then eat it.
Well, what's funny is I believe it wasn't until I was 20 that I realized you were supposed to toast them.
They're good both ways. I get it.
Yeah.
Because mom was just like, here you go. and I would break the crust off and then
Mhm.
eat the rest of
And
it.
in West Virginia, they didn't have toasters, so you know.
Outside the
We'd set it up on the roof, let it heat up a little bit.
No, there's a Paula.
I couldn't afford a toaster.
There's a Paula Poundstone that's hilarious. Have you ever seen this? She does a bit about the Pop-Tarts, and she's like, so, you know, you get 3 little packs of 2 in a thing, right? In the old school stuff. You open the first one, you eat those 2, and they're so good. And then you you just want one more. And so she has one more, but then I have an open one. So she's got to eat the second because it'll go stale. So now she's just got 2 left. And you might as well just eat those while you're at it. So then, you know, before you know it, she's gone through a box of Pop-Tarts. And I can really relate to that. I mean,
Yeah.
But the weird thing, suggested serving 1, and there's 2 to a pack.
yes.
It's
See,
and they don't like, okay, then give me a crimper to be able to close the seal back so that it doesn't get all nasty.
Yeah, when I walk by the huge box in Costco, I'm like, stay away. Because that, you know, I'm not young enough anymore where I can eat those and it just goes. Now, if I eat that, it's gonna take me 6 months to get that off.
Well, and it's funny too, because I grew up with a friend who she would be walking around the house with a paper plate with a Pop-Tart on it, and I'm like, who eats a Pop-Tart off of a plate? And she's just, and I'm like,
I know you get it.
You open the top and then you just slide the one up and you just hold it in the pouch and eat it like that. And
I have a lot of Pop-Tart burns, you know, in my past from fresh out of the toaster. Ooh, your fingers are burnt, your tongue's done. Yeah, I'm scarred, but I still eat them. If I could, I would eat them all the time.
You know,
Now
there's
I
actually
really want a
hacks to
Pop-Tart.
them now, so you can
Really?
find online hacks to Pop-Tarts. I forget, Bobby was telling me one that was just the rage on TikTok here recently.
There are so many hacks now to life.
We don't need to complicate the Pop-Tart.
It's a Pop-Tart, yeah.
Yeah, I was just reading today about, and maybe you guys knew, I didn't know it, called Wednesday Waffle, and I did a little video. I've been doing these little short 2 to 3 minute videos for readers, you know, on my Facebook and YouTube, and just talking about, okay, today I'm working on this, or today I'm doing this. Well, then I read today, hey, there's a thing called Wednesday Waffle, or Waffle Wednesday Waffle. And it's not about waffles. It's like Australian, which means to talk. So you just you do a little video of yourself saying what you've been up to. That's 1 to 2 or 2 to 3 minutes. And then you send it to your friends. And instead of calling them on the phone and getting stuck on the phone, you send your friends these little 2 to 3 minute videos, and then you're caught up with each other. So you don't need to do the actual phone call.
Can I do that with my mom?
Try it. See if it works.
She wouldn't know how to use it on the phone, so
she'd keep talking to you even though the video's done.
Glenn,
that's what my mom would have done.
Glenn,
yeah, yep, exactly.
you there?
She'd be calling me. What is this on my phone?
Oh, gosh.
It shows you there, but you're not there.
Well, okay. Now here we go. We're talking about the 2 grandchildren, how one is not into the computer stuff and the other one is. When I'm calling somebody on the phone and I just got him on speaker because I hate having it up to my ear, the brain waves are going to cook what's left up there. And so he's like, why can't I see them? Why are they not on the screen? And he's like pitching a fit. Where are they? I want to see them. And I'm like, I don't do that.
Oh, soon
Lord, hand him a flip phone and see what he does.
Oh, good
soon
Lord.
that's gonna be me. I mean, already my daughter goes, "Give me the remote, mother," and I'm like, "Make it work, make it work." In my day, we could just go up and change the channel, make this darn thing work. So she's already going, "Oh Lord, here we go."
I have a landline phone still.
Oh, do you? I used to.
Yeah. I'm out in the country, so that's how I can get my internet, and so it's
Do you still do the when you connect to the internet? Are you that?
The only time I use it. Yeah, the only time I pick it up.
Casey still got some dial up.
Probably some places, yeah.
I think I have voicemail set up for it, but I don't ever check it. It's probably just scammers. But the only time I pick it up is to see if it's to see if the internet, but yeah.
Well, who answers the phone if you don't know the number anymore? I mean, most
Well,
people go.
It's like it's ringing, but I can't see who's calling. I'm not answering that.
Leave me a message. I'll decide if I'm here or not.
And I had a brand new phone, and it tells me who's calling by voice. Your mother is calling. Like, whoa,
No.
uh-oh. And then you're like, oh, trauma. Here we go again.
Oh no, I meant to hit end. Oh God.
Oh. Anyway. Oh. So
do you, just because I feel like you and I are on the same kind of like wavelength on how our process works.
Yes.
So do you ever like walk into the bookstore and like you see a book similar to something you would like to write, and you pick it up and you start reading it and you're like, how the hell is this here?
Well, you mean in a good way or a bad way?
In a bad way.
In a bad way?
Like, how is this? How
did this make it through?
How did this get through all the editorial and the marketing and all that stuff to land on a shelf?
Oh, I have a great example I can give you. I purchased the book, and the first page is only that big because you need that much of the page to put the number 1, and I was just like, how? Because I read the back and I was like, oh, this is a great idea, and it was like $7. So I was like, that'll be a quick read, and I got back to the house and was like,
yeah,
who her editor hated her. How does she have so many books here?
Maybe it's they knew somebody, maybe they knew somebody in the publishing house, so it got published. I try to go into it like this. Not everybody likes my books, and I get it. Not everybody likes my sense of humor. So, Shay's gone. So, I try to think of it as, okay, there's a book for everybody out there, right? There's a book that you might like that I'm going, nah, it's not really for me. Same as TV shows, same as movies. And, in the early days, I got rejected by the big publishers. I had my fair share, and it was frustrating, and I think, why? What am I not doing? And a lot of times it was as simple as, your book is not set in a place, that we want it to be set, like a big city. You're doing small town. So that was back before cozies became a thing even, and so small town was a bad thing at one point. So I kind of have learned with time to just go, wait it out. This whole three-legged alien romance with a zombie, that'll come around, man. It will, and it'll be a hit for a short bit, and sometimes those hits are longer and sometimes not. I was going to write a vampire romance years ago, and the agent I had at the time said, don't. They've been a couple years of that, or it's over, it's about 2 years of vampire romances. Those are going to fade with time. And I was stupid enough to listen to her, and I went a different direction. And did they ever fall out? Aren't they still going?
No, vampires are still popular.
Exactly. I think, don't listen to somebody else. Go with your gut, man. Do what you want and go with your gut, because there's readers out there that'll like it.
Well, and part of me wonders too, if maybe the individual who wrote this is not local, because it's titled Murder in the Reading Room, and I was like, okay, interesting story that has to do with Ernest Hemingway later on in the book. So I was like, okay, interesting. And let me see, the part that bothered me here. Soot-colored thunderclouds hovered over the ridges of the Appalachian Mountains, like thunder clouds. And how? Let me see. There was a way that she phrased something One of the windshield blades squeaked with every pass, and as the rain picked up its pace, Jane had to turn the wipers to a higher speed setting.
You've read a lot of books, haven't you?
That was written
I'm
by
saying
somebody
because
who
you're
gave me a word.
You're an intelligent reader, I can tell.
And I guess part of my problem too is that immediately it's one of those. I like to find out about the main character farther through. Please don't info dump me on the first page about each, like, the first line is Jane Stewart was heading straight into the storm, and I was just like, okay, so fair. It might just not be for me, but then, and I just wonder if she's not local, because I was like, okay, so I get into the second page here, and we get to the clue had been a Templar cross pinned to a map. The location was Asheville, North Carolina. Jane was positive that the pin marked Biltmore, and she was equally sure that the Templars were responsible for Edwin's disappearance. We are on page 2. There's the Templars in here just somehow ran. Where are they coming from?
That was written by an elderly person because they used the word Edwin, or the name Edwin.
Yeah, and then her sons had come out of the ordeal. And her children's name, her 2 sons are Fitzgerald and Hemingway.
Yeah,
Those are her 2 sons.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
But then we get to, if she'd had an inkling that the Knights Templar was still a functioning society, and that it had split into multiple brotherhoods, one of which was determined to locate Storyton Hall's hidden library at any cost, she would have gone elsewhere following her husband's death. And I was just like,
wallbanger. Although I once talked about wallbangers at a library, and I got some red faces, and I was like, what? And they said, is that a romance book, a wallbanger? And I said, no, it means you don't want to read the book and you throw it at the wall. Get your mind out of the gutter, old lady. Come on.
I made it.
That was at the nursing home, right?
I made it to page 3, and I was like, I cannot anymore. I mean, granted, it was in that section of like, it's like a mystery romance in that kind of, because I will just cover that part for, it's one of those little books that's in that section. But I saw the title, and then I read the back, and I was like, oh, okay, interesting. And first page, I was like, it was, I believe, the worst $8 I ever spent.
I was going to say, the author still got your money. So.
Yes.
She did, and I don't know how she had, because I went back later, and I was like, how does she have so many?
Who's
Are
the
they
publisher?
all like this?
Who's the publisher on that?
Kensington Publishing Group.
So
Kensington Publishing Corp.
So the author probably got, is that a smaller one, or is it a trade size?
No, it's just
the little one. So the author probably got about 40 cents of your money. The rest of it went to the publisher and the distributor. So if that makes you feel any better, you gave Kensington a lot of money, and you gave the distributors a good chunk of cash, but the author only made 40 cents would have been good, probably. It's from Kensington. So that's the real business of publishing, is if you buy from me in my online store, then I will get a decent amount of money for my book. I'm not going to get rich off one sale, but I'm going to make a decent amount of money that pays if you have a lot of people buying, and I can make a living like I do. But if you're working for some of the big publishers, you don't make a lot of money. And that's why a lot of people went indie early, because you couldn't make it as an author. I was at a book festival and sitting next to a guy that's a really good illustrator and had a book out, children's book out. And he said, "How's that going for you, what you're doing?" And I said, "You mean, indie and hybrid?" Because I'm really a hybrid. I have some that goes through a big publisher. He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Because I'm a starving artist with bunches of books out and a name that's known, but I'm not making anything." And I said, "Well, I'm not in your boat, I guess, So anyway, I'm trying to make you feel better that she didn't get it as much money. I'm not trying to preach about authors, just that, yeah, since it came through that publisher, that's the case. Write to Kensington and tell them, what are you doing, Kensington?
Asking for a refund.
Yeah. I want my $7.99 plus tax back.
There's that's a whole nother show we could do where Anne could talk for like an hour or two and just make you go, really? That's going on behind the scenes? But we can't talk about
Another
that
time.
tonight.
I was going to say, it's funny you should say that, Anne. I was thinking we need to have you back more often. So,
hey,
I may
you
steal
guys
her for mine.
You guys
Hey.
are fun. I've been having a good time tonight. So thanks for giving me a lot of laughs and a lot of great time.
Well,
Thank you for the laughs.
Yeah, I was glad to see that you were willing to come back, so we didn't freak you out.
Well, you didn't scare me off, and we didn't even get to talk about Bigfoot. And dang it, Glenn, I pulled up stuff like Pottersville. Have you seen that movie? I love that movie.
I don't think I've seen
You should
that.
look up Pottersville. It's funny. Ian McShane's in it. They think Bigfoot's there because the storekeeper gets drunk one night because his wife, he thinks his wife is screwing around. And he goes out, he puts on a gorilla costume. He's drunk and he runs through town just kicking stuff and being mad. And all of a sudden Bigfoot's there. And
I feel like this is a Bobby Dizzle movie.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. It's a great show. So I thought about that. I was ready with Wolf of Snow Hollow, which is hilarious. Come on.
That just means you have to come back.
We're scheduling you again. Yep, that's it. So.
I've got a freaky story that I could tell you too about something that happened to me, but we're out of time.
Yeah,
Darn it.
We'll do that for a tease. Yes, Salty Dog, her website is in the description. Both authors are. And before you go, I've got to let you plug, because that's what we do here. We want you to get rich off of your book sales.
Okay.
And not get freaking 30 cents.
Yeah, and don't get your head all swollen up. So yeah.
Yeah, AnnCharles.com. That's me. Go out there. I've got books, a books tab. You can go and see all the different retailers I'm linked to. I really recommend you go to like one of those retailers, read the blurb about it, the cover copy, read some reviews, because if some of my reviews say, oh, there's a little bit of, sex on the page in this book and bad. And, others go, hey, sex on the page.
And not enough sex on the page.
Can you send me an autographed copy of that one? So.
One time Amazon had my books in their erotica store, and I was like, knock, knock, knock. You got to take me out of erotica. While I do have some excitement on the page, the erotica readers are going to be pissed at me, and they're going to give me bad reviews because there's not enough. So get me out of that category, because I'm going to get in trouble there. I'm going to get in hot water. But yes, I don't write cozies. I write sex, drugs, rock and roll. Not really rock and roll, but I do talk about rock and roll songs. But I'm all over the place. It's a little dark humor, a lot of humor in some places. I just have a good time, and my goal is to make people laugh and have, escape whatever problems getting them down and go laugh and have a good time on the page. And I don't mean good time on the page and not wall banging that way either.
Hey, good time on the page. They then have to go buy another copy.
Exactly. Yes. But anyway, just check me out. And I'm all over on social media. I'm like a bad disease.
Okay. Well, some of the authors have sent us, and you don't have to do this, but if you want to see if people actually watched and listened to the show, give us a coupon code and you give them like $1 off or something.
If I had my stuff together, then that might have happened. But again, it's shotgun. Anne's running shotgun from the hip here and just flying along. Old dog trying to learn new tricks. I don't think that fast about coming up with a coupon. I'm so old.
Fair enough. All right. Well,
But
maybe they'll just
someday,
email you.
one of these days I'll have my stuff together and I'll be like, yeah, here's the coupon code, and here's this, and here's that, and here's all this stuff. And you'll be like, and so with it now.
How'd you get
Oh,
like that?
it only took another 10 years.
And you were back
Exactly.
when.
It's gonna be. I'll be there in 10 years. Give me time.
There you go.
Hey,
All right,
let her cook.
I don't want to keep you all night, but we could. We're gonna have to have you back, and we might have you for a 2-hour show. That might just be the best thing
Hey.
to do.
Yeah, we could talk about all kinds of stuff. If you have questions about the book industry, like I said, I've been a wannabe author trying to get into big houses. I've been rejected by after almost making it. I've been a publisher. I've been an indie author for years. I've been a hybrid author for years. So I'm getting old and I keep experiencing things. I mean,
And you just need more Pop-Tarts.
and I always need more Pop-Tarts. Blueberry's not bad.
There you go. There you go.
I love
I have
it.
a
Cherry.
feeling
Oh, they
Salty
make
Dogs-
cherry. Those were good too. Anyway.
Very, very good. I think Salty Dog's already been on your website checking you out, buying your books. So there you go.
All right. Good. Salty Dog. I'm too old to go to the prom. Or wasn't there a dance or something earlier that I
There
missed
was
that on?
prom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm too old for that. My
I
knees
Shay can go with
think
us.
now.
I think he is too. So
Footloose. We'll do like the footloose dancing. Everybody footloose. Yes, I'm
and
that
have a
old.
great night. We will talk to you soon. I'm gonna try and see if I can have you like for 2 hours, maybe like in May or something towards
All
summertime.
right. Well, you know, talk to Mickey. I might be like that guy behind me by May for all we know, but maybe I'll still be here. I don't know. But talk to Mickey. He'll work out whatever works with you guys. It was great to meet you, Shay and Casey. It was good to talk
It's
to you.
great to meet you too.
You too.
And I'll have more hot chicks by the time you come back. So
It'll just be a flood of them. No, come on. You got to get older women like me so I don't feel so old. Come on. At least Shay is like an old soul. I swear. Pop-Tarts, the books she reads, all that good stuff.
She is.
And Casey's
Well,
awesome.
the
She's not far.
books I didn't read.
The books you didn't read. Exactly. All right.
Well, I might have to steal you for my podcast, so because we like to have authors on mine as well. So
What's yours
Mickey.
called, Casey?
it's Notorious Escapades on Spotify and Apple,
Oh, cool.
and
That
I've had a
sounds
few
fun.
authors.
That's fun.
So.
Yeah. Contact, just like I said, talk to Mickey. Glenn's got his info. And Mickey can schedule me in for what works for you. And we can just talk about whatever you want to talk about. That's fun.
Cool.
Cool.
All right.
You have to be careful. He got mad at us because we tried to keep Gina. So
Glenda.
or Glenda. See, I've already forgotten all women's names.
Oh, come on.
All right, and have a great night. Thank you for coming back. We really did love having you here.
Thank you. And thanks to all the commenters who talked and joined in with us. And thanks for the laughs. I will talk to you guys the next time around.
Absolutely.
All right.
We'll
See you
talk to
later.
soon.
Bye.
I love her. So, am I allowed
She's
to
a
say
hoot.
that? Am I allowed to say that?
You
Oh,
can.
that was
I love her too. It's fine.
that was a great episode. That was. So, we did it. We apparently wasn't that great. Salty, I'm sure by now you had a question. I guess it wasn't that great after all. So
I thought it was pretty great.
it was. And I told you, I think the other day that I really enjoyed having her last time because she did. Her laughter is infectious. So, and I needed that tonight. So I'll tell you later what the was.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, good times. Well, apparently we ran Casey off. Hopefully she'll come back. So
It might be the Wi-Fi again.
it could be. Meow. So
Meow.
there you go. Wait, let's see if it works. Maybe if we play it, she'll come back. apparently it doesn't work like that. So
Hey, maybe you got to go Beetlejuice, and you got to do it 3 times.
oh, maybe. Well, no, I don't want to tempt the copyright gods of YouTube. So I got smacked earlier, so no. Yeah, I can't do that. Let's see. Next week on the Paranormal Guys. First off, will you be able to come on next week?
I will not.
Okay, well, that's fine. We have Tong G, and I'm hoping I put that in the calendar correctly, and Doug Lawrence, also 2 authors. And I have to agree with you, Salty. But I couldn't say that, because it would just be wrong. But
Anne was very sexy.
She is. She's sexy. She's sweet. She's smart. She's got it all: the looks, the brain, everything. So
great sense of humor. Love it.
Hey, and maybe she's got money, so maybe I do need to contact her. So,
well, I mean, you would have to have your stuff together so that you balance each other out.
Happen. Yeah, that's never going to happen. Yeah, it's never going to happen. I'm never going to get my stuff together. So, all right. Well, I'm going to wrap it up unless we have any comments from the chat. There will be a.
We gotta run promo.
Oh, that's right. That's right. So yes, we did this on the show earlier today, and we will do it now. This is for a wrong button. Stop asking me a question. The computer's asking me a question. We did this during the daytime lunch show, so we have to do this tonight because next Monday, instead of
this coming Monday.
Well, that's right. This Monday, we are going to have something a little bit new. So we share this real quick here.
You're muted.
Yes, I was muted. So for the radio audience, you're going to have to describe what all of that was and tell them what's coming up on Monday.
So, Amanda and I just off the skin of our teeth, Monday decided, hey, we should do, we need to do something. We would do really good if we did something together. And she's really good with great, Chris, thank you. We'll be in touch.
We need to know about this, but go ahead.
So Amanda's really good with like the movie side of horror, whereas I'm more on like the book side of horror, because we both have a love for horror. And I was like, oh, well, we can discuss both the movies and the books. And she's like, well, I know more about the movies. And I was like, well, I know all the book stuff. And then so just I don't know if I would consider it like a review, or I would consider it like your mini history lesson on Monday night. For our premiere, we're going to be talking about OG Universal movie monsters, where they come from, the series and different movies that have led from those, and go from there.
Okay. And we have to make sure Ross is clear on the schedule too. So can you do that for me? Email or message him and let him know about it.
Okay.
So he can put it in the he puts the metadata in, so when it's transmitting on the radio, a picture comes up and a little description. So
Okay. Can do.
But yeah, do that, since we're going to do it every other Monday, and I'm not sure what we're doing with Two Dwarf Witches. So I don't know.
But so that'll be our every other Monday spot for right now. Casey is going to come join us sometimes. Other Chris is going to come join us sometimes. So
Okay, which Chris?
Pumpkin Spice Chris.
I'm getting all my Chris's confused.
Cody Rhodes' cousin.
Cody Rhodes' cousin. Gotcha. He's going to be on. We're going to have a famous guy. Then Jeff's going to get jealous. Good Lord. All right. Well,
no, I think Jeff would crap his pants if Cody Rhodes popped up, especially after this weekend. So
yeah, probably. All right. So what you're saying is we're gonna get the number one podcaster on the show, Chris Rhodes.
Yeah, from the Best Damn Podcast.
Yeah, the best estimate. Yeah. So
yeah.
All right. Awesome.
He's got the green light, as I am told, to. Yes. No, see that is Cody Rhodes' cousin. You are our Chris.
And I'm just. So did he have to ask his wife's permission? I'm just curious. So nobody asked me. I'm the button pusher. So.
Yeah. No, we just told you. No, he just had to make sure it was cool with his other people. It's like
a marriage. Here, do this. So yeah, I get it. So.
Hey, I already told Amanda. I was like, here's the list of things I'm gonna give Glenn to read. I'll point to him when to read it, so he'll know what to do.
Pretty much. Well, and it's funny you say that, but that's when Greg's on the show, he just pops up. It's like, so he's just here. That's fine. I don't care. I love having Greg on too. So you might. I don't know.
Yeah, Greg's always a good time.
Yeah.
We could.
I don't know about that, but So now Jack Daniels, who the hell knows in Tennessee? So
no, I'm sure we could wrangle Greg in for just for the laughs.
Probably. And Casey's going to appear on there every now and then too, I hear.
Yep.
All right, and you're going to get all your Amazon stuff together so that we don't have you being kicked in and out and all that other stuff. So, or that's just your Wi-Fi tonight during the storm. So,
yeah,
gotcha. But I know you just missed it, but I'm not giving up on my dream of the wind maps books.
Hey, I told her about it, Chris.
The wind maps are pretty amazing. So, and Casey, I don't know if any of your regulars come up and watch my news show during the day. It's on every day at 1:00. I actually talked about you on it today. So, in a good way. Yeah.
Well, my bestie didn't mention that to me.
Yeah. It wasn't. There was no politics involved. So your bestie would have loved the first 20 minutes of my rant. You might want to just fast forward through that. So. So.
And maybe just cut out the end part too.
It was and the end part. It was funny. I looked. I was like, "Do I make sure I'm still up on Ross's station?" I did notice I lost 3 subscribers. Sorry, Dims.
It happens.
Sorry, Dims. You pissed me off. That was what you got. So. Don't disrespect a kid with brain cancer. So sorry. That's what they got. Cheyenne, we won't see you next week. Will we? Are we going to do a Saturday show? What are we doing?
I work this Saturday, but I will be moving next Saturday. So
okay.
The asylum compound will be leaving the clutches of my childhood bedroom.
Whereas I'll be going back. From what this is exploding, it maybe tonight. So
gotcha.
So yeah. All right. Well, that's cool. And then Casey, we're gonna see you more often. We're gonna get your audio video stuff worked out, but we're gonna see you more often, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. And I will tell you, I have had some private comments that you are free to wear something showing more cleavage. So just saying. I won't say which Chris sent it to me. So
Well, I know it's not Chris 048. I know he didn't send that.
You never know. Never know. So maybe it was Ross. I don't know. So
Ross is into that.
He just, he likes a little
Hey.
test.
he likes a little pizza, pepperoni. What can I say? So
Are you sure it wasn't you, Chris Rhodes?
No. Yeah, he's like, wasn't me. He's like, no, my wife will beat me. So
This is a safe space, Chris. It's okay.
Everyone's allowed to talk freely here. So except for me, I get in trouble. But that's because I'm the button pusher. I have now got a page-long legal disclaimer. I sent it by my paranormal attorney, but there's not enough characters I can't put it all on there. Like, okay, paranormal attorney, we have to shorten this. Do I need to get AI to get it down to 1,500 characters or less? So, yeah. I
Chat GPT.
I meant to tell her, by the way, if you want a funny laugh, ask AI to tell you a joke. It's like it's like you lock its programming up. It's like, okay, here's a dad joke. It's like, no, that's what I was looking for. But so Casey, when's your next episode come out? What do you got going on?
Well, I gotta spend all weekend. We have a Swiftie author coming on at the end of April, so I gotta read that book, and then I gotta prepare for the rest of March. So, but our next episode will be March 16th. It's gonna be women's history and all that fun stuff.
It sounds boring. Oh.
I will ask her later.
Hey, I just wanted you to know I had the Swiftie comic book author on. I had that before you. So
well, you can't get Taylor on. Sorry.
Backpedaling. He actually contacted Taylor during it to ask her questions, and Kelsey.
No,
Travis.
I know whom you speak.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to get him back. He's got it. No, it wasn't that one. It was the one before that one. Okay, we'll talk. It wasn't.
We'll talk later.
You can't write a comic book about a comic book. That's already been done by Kevin Smith. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't duplicate that. So yeah, and he tried. He was a flop. So
no,
I'll lose another viewer tonight. So
if it is the individual of which you're talking about known for doing books about famous people?
Well, he wasn't at first, but now he is. Yes. He's done several sports stars. He did Dolly Parton. He did Taylor Swift.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, his most recent one is. So.
Oh, I definitely would be available.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll do it when you're at work, Cheyenne. So yes, Casey would be available if I'm going to contact her agent.
You can have Travis, and I'll take Taylor.
I'll have both of them. So
no, you can't have Taylor first.
You don't need to ask. I have been turned down by some pretty important people in Hollywood, and I've had some that go, "What is your show again?" Remember the famous English chef that was going to come on until he saw we've only got like 100 subscribers. I was like,
but we got the Robin Williams impersonator,
and he was in Twister, the second one. So
Twisters.
That's right. So yeah, and we've had the guy from the reality TV shows. We've had him. So we've had some A-listers. So it's been we've had some good times. And I have the reporter that was punched by Buzz Aldrin.
Oh,
That's
really?
that's about as famous as I think I could get. That was a great.
I don't know.
episode.
I don't feel like you can beat Grandma Moses. So
Salty. So, that was back when we hadn't potty trained Salty yet. So
no, I was on there in the comments going, shut the fuck up. Shut up right now.
luckily she couldn't see the screen. So.
She didn't have her readers on.
And Chris says he knows a guy who was a paramedic in movies. Hey, let me know. I might know him too. So
Every
Believe
movie
it or
we
not-
watch, we're gonna look for you.
believe it or not, there's a market for them. I will never be like the what's Rob Lowe of Texas 911. I will never be that guy. So, the one where I had the most parts and the most in was Roller Zombies. It was an MTV movie. So yeah. So yeah, and is MTV even still around? So
Yeah.
yeah, they filmed that with my Roller Girls, and I was in that one. So yeah. And I went from actually being on the sidelines to I had a part to then they made me a zombie, and I told the director, I don't know how to effing be a zombie. So yeah. So all right. Well, I'm gonna wrap this up because I've got some stuff I've got to take care of. We will have a Daily Gazette tomorrow. And we will have, what else do we got? That's it for this week. We're probably not going to have a Misfits this weekend. So we probably won't be back Monday. We'll see what happens, guys and gals, on, it is a serious question. Because apparently people have either been a fireman or a paramedic. In the Avengers, what was the last one? The one where Endgame, I was the paramedic helping the old Asian couple across the street with all the explosions. I was the fire captain. He asked me to carry an oxygen bottle during it. The director did, and it's a well-known director. What's his name? The two brothers, Russo brothers or something.
Yeah.
And he asked me, and I looked at him and I said, why in the fuck would I do that? And everybody's like, you can't talk to him that way. And I'm like, I don't fucking care.
I am making sure that it's realistic.
And I said, dude, if there's explosions, the last thing I want anywhere near me is a goddamn oxygen bottle. And he's like, good point. So, that may have been how I got that little snippet in, that little 2 seconds. I was like, see that's me. So Clint Eastwood filmed the movie about the Atlanta bombing. I was prominently in it, and I got to meet Clint Eastwood and shake his hand, got my picture with him. He's got the softest hands for a cowboy. So, but he's
very lucky.
He's like 112. So
I was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah, but
that's Grandpa Moses.
he is a hell of a man though. He could cuss. So, but
when you're that old,
who cares? But he was a very nice gentleman. He actually told the other people that they kept him away from us, and he told them out of all the important people in the movie, everything, says, I want to go talk to the real firemen, and they corralled us and brought us in like a little meal. Actually, I think it was a dessert because it was so late. And he introduced himself. Of course, we knew who the hell he was. And he came around, shook our hands, talked to each one of us. Yeah, he specifically had him set us aside. So yeah, hell of a guy. The Rock is an asshole. So yeah. So
oh really?
At least he's pretty to look at.
Yeah, well, he got annoyed because during the female part of the competitors thing, the one beat the girl who she wasn't supposed to beat, the one that had won like all the ones before. And instead of coming over to him, screaming and everything, she went and hugged her mother, who had just survived double breast cancer and was like 80 years old and was like there. I mean, they made a thing of putting this up on there, and I'm thinking, great, this old lady's gonna die during the damn set. But anyhow, they made a big point about telling the story and everything. It was up on the screen, and he got pissed off because she ran right past him to her mom and drug her down in the from the audience and was giving her a hug and crying. He got pissed off and walked off. And from that moment on, I didn't like The Rock. So
yeah, I'm not really.
I was like, if you think that damn much of yourself, deuces. So
Just
yeah, and he's turned heel now, so he was the one, right?
he's no, that's John Cena. The Rock was always a heel. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. John Cena, he's not bright.
He's
enough
too
He's too OCD.
He's too fucking
OCD.
old. He's too old.
The Rock or John Cena?
John Cena. It's goofy seeing him now. I mean, I watched in like
Okay, well, what about Stone Cold in Hulk Hogan?
but he's cool. Stone Cold's cool. Hulk Hogan too old, but John Cena just looks goofy now with the hair and then the jorts and his bright ass white sneakers. I was like,
well, the way I knew that Hulk Hogan was too old when he came out for the first WWE they had on Netflix. You know how he ripped his shirt? He couldn't rip his shirt all the way. I was like, you're too damn old. Says that he can't stand Cena in his bald spot. Well, tell Cody to kick his ass then. So
Cody can go kick John Cena in the dick.
There you go. And then come tell us about it on this show. So.
Yes.
And then we'll have Jeff on for that one to make him feel better.
No. He can stay backstage in what we will call the cuck chair of the podcast.
Easy. Stone Cold will never be too old, so you're probably right. He'll be up there pounding beers when he's 93. So, all right, ladies, I'm gonna let you all get out of here. Everybody in the chat, I appreciate it. It's been a great show as always. Come back and check me out on my new show, which at least will be regular this week at 1:00. And of course, we want to thank Ross at Yerg's Radio and Rainbow Radio for allowing us on, for tickling your ears. And then we are also on the Bigfoot Radio Network. You can find us on WRFN in Nashville, Radio Free Nashville. And we are also in Pine Island, Florida on, hold on, I'll tell you. Wrong button. Hold on, I'll tell you the name of the station. WZQR, our newest affiliate. So WZQR, thank you for allowing us to be on. We are on there. I think they put us on like midnight to 2, so because we're like bad boys. So they aired The Last Misfits on FM radio, and I did not get a complaint. And I emailed him prior. So good station. So thank you down in Pine Island. We love you. Everybody else, have a great night. If I forgot any of my sponsors, oh, that's right, we don't have any yet. I do soon. Never get that damn video out. I got to do that. He's already messaged me. He's wanting to get a commercial, so something else I got to do. I swear I'm back in this office like a job now. My dog hates me. She never sees me.
That's okay. We love you.
Glad somebody does. Nobody else does. So, Mrs. Sportcats doesn't lock the bedroom door. So. Oh well. Luckily I'm a fireman. I got a key. Good night, guys. Everybody have a great night. We'll talk to you soon.